This planet is alive. Do you sense the energy? Colorful and diverse, all in balance. This planet is wild.
No, this isn't a buffet line, but rather these are vacationers waiting to board the bus going to Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks. And what a trip they're in for. As a comfortable coach arrives, the driver carefully packs away all the bags, and there's Pamela McKinley checking her list once and twice to ensure that everyone is accounted for before their departure. Our residents have settled into their seats and are on their way. And here are our travelers feeding their appetites, talking, laughing, and anticipating a fantastic trip.
This is the first time we've taken a trip like this through Sun City.
This is my second trip on bus with Anthem, and it's been very, very good.
As lovers of nature, we were overwhelmed and humbled as we saw nature at its grandest. Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks are only about half an hour apart in distance, but relatively hard to get to as they are in a vast area of Montana and Wyoming. This bus trip will take us to both parks, where we experience some of America's most astounding landscapes, along with the most renowned geyser of all, Old Faithful Geyser shooting hundreds of feet into the air, along with colorful hot pots, boiling thermal springs, and bison roaming throughout Yellowstone Park. Then, in less than 30 minutes, we had our breath taken away as we photographed one of the most majestic mountain ranges on Earth, the Grand Tetons. Typically, there's always a beautiful snow-capped peak year-round to top off the view. We spent that night in the rustic Old West town of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with this infamous antler arches framing the town square. After driving and exploring for 3 days, we thoroughly enjoyed the afternoon spent in the healing mineral waters of Lava Hot Springs in the tiny rural town of Lava, Idaho. Large thermal pools of varying temperatures are one of the only places on Earth where all your aches and pains will disappear for a few hours. Bubbling out of natural underground springs, the hot water is laden with minerals, but has no sulfur and therefore no bad odor. It is a one-of-a-kind experience itself. Then, last but not least, we spent the night and morning in Salt Lake City, Utah, to explore Temple Square, historical buildings, cultural attractions, before heading back home with memories of a lifetime.
This is the first time we've taken a trip like this through Sun City. We have thoroughly enjoyed it. There were places in this beautiful country of ours that we haven't seen that we wanted to see and really weren't interested in driving all over. So this was perfect. We've had a wonderful trip, met a lot of nice new people that live in our area. And I would do it again, not this particular trip because I've done this trip, but I would do another trip somewhere else in the same way. And the best part of it was I taught Ari the fundamentals of packing.
My impressions of this trip is that I think it was a learning experience. I'm under the impression that this is the longest trip that SCA has ever organized, and so there's some lessons learned. But obviously we did get to see one of the most beautiful sites in the United States, possibly in the entire world, and we got to do a variety of activities, and so in that way I think it was a good learning experience.
This is my first sponsored Sun City Anthem trip. My husband and I are celebrating my soon-to-be 74th birthday. I have, for many years, I've wanted to go and see Yellowstone, and when I saw this advertised in the monthly news magazine, it just seemed like the perfect time in our lives to take advantage. Overall, very, very pleased with the trip, with how it has been planned, with the sites that we've seen, with the bus driver, with the tour guide, the restaurants, all of the attractions. Very much enjoyed Yellowstone. Again, that was a highlight for us. I would absolutely take any future trip that included things that we would personally like to see. One of the nicest part of the trip is the people that we've shared it with. Everyone has been extremely friendly. It's just been an overall very pleasant experience.